Welcome back to What's Haunting the Hursts. It's been a while, I know. I've got a new show format that I want to try out. And it's basically just going to be me musing on different topics in the truck. My truck, of course, needs to beep for a little bit. It does 5 beeps 5 different times. It means there's some issue. I think it's something with an airbag, but you know, I've grown used to it, and I'm sure you all will as well. But I am a type of person that doesn't do very well with structure. So I like to watch a lot of podcasts, and that sound you hear, that whining sound, I know exactly what it is. It's just I keep procrastinating trying to fix it. I need to replace some power steering fluid in the truck, but it can wait a little bit longer. So I guess this new show is going to be mostly me talking about random subjects as I drive to and from work. Now, this, admittedly, is the best day of the week. This is Friday, which you know from former podcasts, I've always said Friday is my favorite day. It's a longer day at work, but it's okay because you know it's the last day at work, and you know you got the weekend to look forward to. Isn't it sad that we go throughout our days 5 days a week just waiting for a couple of days? Some people even get just one day where they can, you know, spend with their families. That's okay though. I figured I'd start off today's episode with kind of a weird, strange topic, because I'm a guy that has never flown in an airplane, and I've never intended to fly in an airplane. I don't plan to fly in an airplane or a helicopter or anything that's going to lift me off the ground and free fly me anywhere. I don't trust the process. And I am afraid of heights, but that's not even what keeps me from it. In fact, I think the heights part of it, and knowing that air travel is mostly safe, statistically much safer than ground travel, I think the height part of it would interest me. What I don't like is not being in some sort of control. Because when you're in an airplane, you're at the pilot's control. And that's not even the worst part of it. I'm not that big of a control freak. I don't like to be trapped. And if you're in an airplane, you are in the definition of being trapped. I mean, think of it. They can't just pull over. let you off at the next exit. They're going to keep flying to their destination unless some emergency, throws them off course. If you just decide, you know what, I don't want to do this, that's not going to work out. But I'm not talking about air travel in airplanes. I'm not talking about air travel in helicopters. What I would like to see happen is for us to do away with airplanes, jet engines, all this kind of stuff. And I'd like to bring back dirigibles. Think of the Hindenburg. The only problem is when you think of the Hindenburg, you think of the big explosion and the death of a third of the people on the Hindenburg. But that was so many years ago, and it was still in its infancy. And I think now, especially, we could create a dirigible that would be less blow-uppy, The Hindenburg used hydrogen instead of helium, or something a little bit safer. There's been conspiracies on whether the Hindenburg was tampered with and that's why it blew up. I don't know. Maybe. The Hindenburg, unfortunately, was a Nazi aircraft, and maybe this time we don't use Nazis to build the aircraft. It's a weird thought, but maybe that's the secret. But I'll tell you what, if they ever bring it back, just think, you're out in your front yard, just enjoying, your life, and you look up and you see a Zeppelin in the sky. How cool would it be just to see this thing casually floating by? I think we're in too big a hurry. And I think that's something that bothers me. We always feel like we have to be somewhere in record time. And the Hindenburg kind of makes its way lazily wherever it goes. But it was still getting people places fairly quickly. The Hindenburg, when it finally crashed, I think in New Jersey, it had already crossed the Atlantic Ocean in just over a day. Now, yes, granted, airplanes can cross the ocean much faster than that. But it's faster than a boat, and you don't have to deal with that horrible ocean. You're flying over the ocean in a pretty stable craft, as long as it's done right. The Hindenburg did very well, even though the designer and the captain knew of some issues with it that were basically whitewashed over. It still did remarkably well until those weaknesses were exposed ultimately at the landing. And it seems like what most probably happened was when they let the ropes down to secure the Hindenburg for people to get off of it, that the ropes on a rainy day conducted enough electricity to charge the Hindenburg, ultimately leading to its fiery demise. But even that could have been avoided had the issues and its structural issues, just structural issues in general, been addressed. And I just think we're at a time where, with the regulations that's put on absolutely everything, that those issues would always be constantly addressed. And I believe it would be probably one of the safest forms of travel. And I would gladly be in the Hindenburg. Zepplin type dirigible. So I know that's random, but it's a random thought, and this is what this new format that I'm doing is all about. Random thoughts on my drive to work. Plus you get to see some of the scenery driving by a golf course right now. I've been thinking about it, and it's been a while since I posted a video. Been doing different things on the videos. I've been doing some Minecraft videos, which I enjoy playing Minecraft. It's a relaxing thing, and I even like doing it for the channel. But when I do it for the channel, I feel like it's more of a job than anything. It's not as relaxing as when I'm just doing it to relax. I love building stuff in Minecraft. It helps me relax. It gets my mind off of things. But when I do it for the channel, I feel like I'm doing a job, and that I have to get it done. And I have to get it done a certain way. And I don't like that. I like to be untethered. I feel like we're moving. Not that we're moving. We've been there for a long time. Where everything has to be structured in such a way. And I don't like a whole lot of structure. I like freedom. I like the ability to think for myself. I don't want an agenda. Let's do away with agendas. One thing I hate about meetings is having an agenda, and I get the point of having an agenda. I really do. Maybe it's not even possible to have a good meeting without an agenda. But maybe take it less seriously, you know. Maybe stray from that agenda. Maybe look at that agenda, understand what needs to be talked about, and then, you know, unceremoniously drift from the agenda every now and then. I don't need to be tied down all the time to stuff. I mean, I know there are people that are built with just organization in their mind. But you can't hold everybody to that organizational structure. We're not all built that way. I'm way too whimsical to be tied down to a set of rules and expectations. I believe in getting a job done, and I work every day to get my responsibilities completed. But I don't take myself too seriously in it. I just get the job done so that I can go about the rest of my day in the way that I see fit, you know. I kind of like to think for myself. And the only thing that really gets me through the day, especially through the week, when you know, I hate having stuff looming over me. And I love having a job, but I hate knowing every evening right before I go to bed that I have to get up and get ready to go back to my job the next day. So how do I get through that? How does somebody that's wired that way keep a job for 20 some odd years, the same job, like that job for the most part, but how does somebody that's not wired that way to enjoy making decisions, doing these things, get through it? The only way I get through it is, I guess in its simplest form, would be called hope. I spend the day hoping and dreaming about what is to come when I step out of the door. And there's no greater feeling throughout the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, than walking out the door after all of your responsibilities have passed. And the greatest day, as I mentioned earlier, is Friday. Because not only are you walking out the door after all your responsibilities are past, but you're walking out the door with no expectation of returning for 2 days. You're walking out the door knowing that you can go to bed and not have to worry about getting up, getting dressed, and going to work. You could wake up, stay in your PJs for a number of hours. There's no time constraints against you. I hate time constraints. I hate planning things. I hate knowing something is planned. I would rather life just happen. But I know that things need to be planned. There's going to be birthday parties. There's going to be things that need to happen. Doesn't mean I have to like it. It just means I have to accept it. But I think in all of our planning, we've lost a sense of wonder. And all of our grown-uppedness, and I realize that's not a real word, I feel like we've lost a sense of the wonder and majesty in the world around us. There's so much beauty, even on a gloomy day like this. People hate gloomy days like this. These are my favorite days. These are days when you want to spend time at your home, in your favorite chair, taking a nap with a cat named Sophia on your lap, lost in her own dreams, but she loves you. I've got 2 cats now, and Ryder and Sophia. Ryder, for some reason, resents me. He's a very sweet cat, but he resents me. He loves everybody else. Sophia hates everybody else, but loves me, and I respect her for it. And I love the few and far between days when maybe I'm on vacation from work. The kids are at school. And all I need to do is sit in my chair and let Sophia sit on my lap and we take a nap together. It's a wonderful feeling. We'll continue this conversation. So, I guess the next topic that I'd like to talk about is the fact that most probably, from what it seems, my workplace, which you don't need to know where I work, just know that I work in the office setting, seems to be haunted by shadow people. I don't know where you all stand on shadow people. I tend to think that they are probably malicious entities. I don't think that there's really any good in them. Maybe you disagree. Depending on your interpretation of things, because it's not an apparition as much as you think of, like the Catholic Church. They have Marian apparitions, like apparitions of Mary or some of the saints, and those are generally followed by blessings and healings and miracles and things of that sort. But from what I can tell with shadow people, they either plague you with, mysterious happenings, bad things, negative things, just from things that I've read about. Now, I've seen the shadow being that I'm speaking of at least 3 or 4 times. 2 times, the first 2 times were within just a few minutes of each other. I saw it recently when I was putting stuff away for shredding. I was putting stuff in a shred bin, and I had unlocked it, and I had the lid up against the column, and all of a sudden the whole thing just kind of shifted and the lid fell, and it was loud noise, kind of scary, and we all just kind of chalked it up and said, oh, that's a shadow person. When you're so used to something that's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, where do they come from? Are they demons, or are they something else? I don't know. That's for you all to decide. I don't really have a thought on what it could be as of yet. I will say, the one thing that is strange is shortly, probably a week after I saw the shadow people for the first time, I was in another part of the office all by myself, and I was stapling things together, and there's a room kind of, from where I was sitting, it was probably 10, 15 feet away from me. I could see the doorway. And I was stapling things together, and all of a sudden I saw somebody, not a shadow, a bodily figure walk into the doorway. And I thought it was one of my co-workers trying to scare me. Well, I look up to see who it was. There's nobody there. So I get up and I walk over there, look everywhere, not a soul. And so I don't know if it's two different beings, two different entities, or if it's the same one and it can show itself as a shadow being as well as a fully formed apparition. I don't know. I just know what I saw. And it's spooky. If you were there alone, it would be much scarier than the way I experience it. But I have people there with me, and it's less scary if there's more people there. But, and this is in broad daylight, so things are a little bit less scary in the daytime. I think I want to save you all from great pain and agony. Last night, my wife and I watched a movie, and as you know from previous posts, hold on a second. Sorry, I had an unexpected phone call. So me and my wife watched a movie last night called Dashcam. It's on Hulu. Don't waste your time. So I've said in previous podcasts that I like a type of movie that truck is way too small to be that loud. Anyway, I like a certain type of genre of movie. I like horror movies, but I like found footage horror movies, and where they make it look realistic, like they're filming on their own camcorder. Generally, everybody ends up dying, and then the footage you're watching is what was found after the fact. So, Dashcam was kind of marketed that way, but oh man, I mean, it had parts in it that definitely will creep you out, but it was more of a gross out factor. The movie was just gross, and I don't like a movie just to be gross. I think it's a cheap way to make a film. It's like, well, if I can't think of an original idea to cause you to have fear, then I'm just going to go to the lowest form of cinema and use the gross out factor. Well, that's just cheap and disgusting and appeals to the lowest level of cinema viewer. I mean, it doesn't do much for me. Maybe it appeals to, you know, middle school boys or something. I don't know. But to make a film and seriously market it and put it out there on a major platform like Hulu and pretend like it's going to be worth the watch, I don't understand it. I gave it a shot. I thought maybe it would redeem itself by the end, but it never did. And so if you want to put yourself through an hour and a half of agony, go ahead and watch Dashcam. I'll leave a picture of it on the video. It's not worth it, guys, but if you want to put yourself through it, go ahead. The main protagonist in the movie is the most annoying person I've probably ever seen in a movie. It just wasn't enjoyable. But, yeah. So, let me tell you something that I regret. Moving on to the next subject quickly and hurriedly. I love The Lord of the Rings. I love the films. But from reading the books, I love the books too, but I've not read all the books. And that's a horrible thing. Why, Adam, haven't you read the books? Well, part of it is I have trouble finishing what I start, but I think the main issue is I need glasses, and I've lost my glasses, and I keep putting off going to the eye doctor to get new ones. So, once I get some glasses, maybe I'll finish the Lord of the Rings books. From what I've seen from the first novel, it's just early judgment. Greatest books ever written. And I desperately want to finish them. Maybe I should just get them on Audible and listen to them that way. Maybe that's what I'll do. It's hard to find a peaceful time to read. If you remember, I have 3 children. I would imagine that I wouldn't be too far off the mark if I were to say that my children are the loudest children that have ever lived. But so it's hard to find a peaceful time to read a book. So maybe I'll get them on Audible. Yeah, so I'll finish this video off when I leave work. So all this first part of it has just been me making my way to work. I'm here now. I'm going to go work, get through the day, and I should be in a much improved mood by the time I get out, because it'll be leaving work on a Friday. So thank you. We'll continue this video, and I'll drop it, and we'll try to drop one of these a week. Don't want to put a schedule on it, don't want to put a day on it, but I will say it needs to be once a week at least. I want to make these big videos of just random ponderings that I'm thinking about throughout the week. So thanks for listening. Okay, well, it's that time. Leaving work on a Friday. Feels good, even though I have something to do bright and early in the morning. It's still a good thing to be able to leave this place. Have a couple days off. I think we've covered quite a bit today. I can't think of another topic I want to talk about. We did have an AT&T outage that everybody seems to be wanting to talk about because, I don't know, anytime something like that happens, we think it's, Russia or China. I think they're saying officially that it's a solar flare, which solar flares can do that from what I understand. But I've also heard people that are like network engineers say that seeing how the outage actually started at like 4 in the morning, that it was most likely an engineer, maybe a new employee or something, new engineer at the company making a change to something and messed it up, just based on the time that it went down. So I can understand that, and blaming the sun on it instead of an employee, but still, if one of your people mess up, just own it. People are going to screw up. Human error is a thing, but I was without the ability to text or call during the morning hours up until about 12:30 or 1:30, one of those. And I tried Wi-Fi calling, but Wi-Fi calling wouldn't work. It kept giving me an error, so I felt like I was back in the olden days. Didn't know how to function, but it wasn't too bad. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. I think we've got enough content to call this video a wrap, and we'll cover some more topics later on next week, and hopefully have a brand new video for everyone to enjoy. We fully plan on getting back out and exploring some more places, doing some more hunts, but I can't say when that's going to be. It just has to strike me as the right time to do it. I've just decided, I'm not going to make any definitive statements about what I'm going to do about the channel and about posting, other than I plan to make this type of video weekly, because this is a video I can very easily do. I like to ponder and to tell about what I've been thinking. So anyway, this is a good way to end it. Thank you for watching What's Haunting the Hurst. Please like and subscribe. All of that helps. I think we're at 397 subscribers, and in the mid 90,000s. I think we have like 94,000 views on the channel, which is awesome. So y'all are the best, and I hope that you continue to return to the channel to see what we have to offer. Thank you.